You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump faces looming reckoning as he confronts future irrelevance report based on an article by Matthew Rosser. Trump is not being caught by time. He is being caught by limits. The real story. The source article wants to frame Trump's slide as a matter of calendar physics, as if the passage of time itself is the central political actor. That is a convenient story for people who prefer weather reports to power analysis. The actual story is less mystical. Trump is colliding with institutions, with public fatigue, with a war that is not going the way he imagined, and with Republicans who are starting to refuse him in small but telling ways. Who still has power? Trump remains president and commander-in-chief. That is real power. But the article also shows where his control stops. The Senate refused his demand to blow up the filibuster for the SAVE Act, and even his own advisors are not aligned on the war. Those are not trivial side notes. They are the perimeter of his authority. The piece briefly notes that he is receiving conflicting guidance on Iran and that Republicans have declined to carry out one of his central election evasion ambitions. That is the important fact pattern. Trump is not simply fading, he is meeting resistance from institutions and from his own coalition when he tries to convert power into obedience. The misdirection problem. The most misleading move in the source is the idea that Trump's weakness is mainly about him nearing the end of a second term. That is a safe, genteel explanation that softens responsibility. It turns political damage into biography. But biography does not explain the growing U.S. casualty count, the low weapons stockpiles, the surging gas prices, or the Republican refusal to jam through a voter suppression bill on his command. Those are outcomes produced by decisions, not by age. Time matters only because it exposes failure that was already there. The coalition is fraying. Trump's political base is not disappearing in a vacuum. It is being stressed by war, by his fixation on the 2020 lie, and by the ordinary limits of a ruling coalition that does not actually want to follow him off every cliff. The article rightly notes that Republicans are beginning to defy him, even if only in small doses. Small doses are how elite retreat starts. No one wants to be the first to say no, until suddenly many are. That matters because Trump's power has always depended on the fiction of total party discipline. Once the party shows even slight resistance, the aura breaks. Then the strongman looks more like a man begging for compliance. What the framing misses. The source treats irrelevance as Trump's worst fear, but that is only part of it. His real problem is not disappearing from headlines. It is that he is accumulating costs he cannot fully control: an expensive war, a less obedient Senate, declining approval, and a political calendar that moves beyond him whether he likes it or not. The article's best evidence is not that Trump is becoming irrelevant. It is that he is still dangerous while becoming less able to impose his will. That combination is the one to watch. A weakening authoritarian does not become harmless. He becomes noisier, more erratic, and more dependent on loyalists who may not keep delivering. The larger pan. This is what decay inside a nationalist or authoritarian project looks like, not a dramatic collapse but a series of refusals, delays, and losses of discipline. The system does not suddenly redeem itself. It simply starts to show where the man cannot command everything. That is the political meaning here. Trump is not being humbled by time alone. He is being boxed in by the limits of his own coalition, the resistance of institutions, and the consequences of the damage he keeps trying to call strength. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of John, thanks for listening.